All right, we're live. Video Guys NewsDay Tuesdays. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. You give us a half hour. We're going to teach you about the products we sell, how to use them, what's new in technology, what's good stuff happening in our industry. Today's show, we're focusing on shooting tips for family and holiday videos. It's the holiday season. Missed Thanksgiving, but we're getting in time for the next set of holidays. I'm Gary from Video Guys. You can always call us at 800-323-2325 with more questions. But today's show, we're really going to concentrate on what you can use to create better videos. And we're going to go right into it because why not? So here we go. All right. This is a big one that is very important for me to tell people, that your video is only as good as what you shoot. Yes, you can always shoot video on a phone if you need to, but we're really going to recommend that you shoot your videos on a camera. If you're watching this show, you should be a videographer, or at least interested in videography or live video streaming. So tip number one, learn your camera. Video cameras have settings. Don't just use everything on automatic. Take the time to learn how your camera works and how it functions. And that is, also learn how to use camera angles and camera moves, because by getting more cinematic, your videos look better and editing will be easier. And the other thing is if the quality of your video is poor, no amount of editing is going to make it look better. So get the video right the first time. I'm watching my crew struggling. I don't know what's going on. Are we up to speed? We can change things. All right. First tip. This one's about shooting kids. And the one thing I want to remind you of, when shooting kids, get down to their level. This is one of the most important tips I learned when my kids were really little. When you shoot as an adult, normally you're standing up and you're looking down at all the kids. And the problem is that you see the tops of their heads, but you don't really get the full feel of it. So get down low. You know, a lot of cameras have a handle on the top. Use the handle on the top and get low, or get yourself low and get those shots of the kids while they're down, while they're doing the stuff on their level. It makes for a much more entertaining video. Also, if you get down on their level and shoot up a little bit at the adults, you kind of get that kid perspective on the holidays. And let's face it, the holidays are most fun for the kids anyway. So get down low, and you'll also get their voices better because you'll be on the same level of their voices. And one of the things that we gave a tip of a few years ago, and I really love it, and that is GoPro cameras are everywhere. You know, GoPro, portable cameras, action cameras. Put one of them on your toddler. Let your toddler walk around and give hugs and kisses to the family members while they're wearing a GoPro camera. I had someone take that tip the first time I did it and told me, hey, don't have any kids, so I put the GoPro camera on the dog and had the dog walking around for the holiday videos. It's just a fun little thing to work into your videos. Remember, these tips are about doing live video and edited post-production video to get the best little videos you can for your family and friends to share what's going on at your house with everyone around you. The next one is very important. It's about audio. Little kids, little voices, and they sometimes will talk looking like this, looking down, behind a snowman. You know, they're not always going to be talking and projecting. So we really recommend, if you're shooting kids, get a Zoom microphone. There's a lot of companies that make them, Rode, Shure, Asden. Put a Zoom microphone on your camera and you're going to get that much better sound for your family videos. It'll also focus the sound more on what's in front of you as opposed to the ambient sound around and behind you. So by having the sound be more in tune with what you're shooting at, you'll get better quality audio. Always, though, whenever possible, get close to your subjects, especially when they're kids. A lot of us are tempted to be in the back of the room and zoom all the way in. Try to get close to the kids. You don't want to interfere with the whole thing, but you can, if the kids are opening up presents, maybe you set up the camera on a tripod that's in front so you're not blocking all the adults' view, but you're letting the kids' view of what's going on. And once again, a shotgun mic, very important. Okay, this is one of my tips that I always talk to people about, and I'm going to assume if you're watching this video, you have access to a video editor, you know how to video edit a little bit, maybe you're doing it on Adobe, maybe Final Cut, maybe Sony, maybe you're an avid editor. Shoot to edit. That means leave the camera rolling. You'll fix it in post. You'll take out the bad clips. Think about your final production when you shoot. Shoot a lot of wide angle shots and close-ups. Make sure you get some establishing shots and B-roll shots. Maybe if there's a pile of presents, do some videos of the presents. Maybe a video where you pan up and down on the tree, or take a shot from the outside of looking into the house through the living room window, and also shoot some transition shots. It's a lot of fun to do, and if you take the time to set up some of these shots, your family videos will be that much more fun to watch. All right, before we get into the montage, I want to add something that a lot of people forget, and that is when you're shooting family videos, we all think about the kids and the presents. There's a lot of cool stuff going on that has nothing to do with the kids, that has a lot to do to make the videos a lot of fun. One thing is family holidays are about food and eating and festivities. Get in the kitchen, shoot some videos of the people prepping and cooking dinner. Yes, they're going to yell at you. Yes, they're going to tell you to get out of their face, but you're going to find out you get some great reaction shots. It makes for a lot of fun, and those years when disaster strikes and the turkey burns, it becomes a really funny video to have years later. So just a thought to be in the kitchen. My other thought is when everyone's sitting around the table, try to maybe take the camera and let different people hold the camera, pass it around so you get different angles of what the table looks like. Get a nice establishing shot of where the table is. And like I said earlier, one of my favorite shots is to take the shot from the outside of the house of the people coming into the house and all the holiday spectacular with the lights and everything like that. So just shoot a whole lot of cool, fun shots. Don't just shoot the people. Shoot what's going on, the whole holiday imagery. All right. In family videos, what happens is family grows up. And your kids grow up and they become adults. They become things like bar mitzvah, or they have weddings. And what do you need? You need a montage. And everyone does a montage now. When I first put this part in to the show, to this article, people weren't really doing that yet. But I walked them through how to do a montage, like with photo clips and what to do with your video editor and stuff like that. But as it went on, what I really realized is let's face it, a montage that's just 100 of snapshots again and again and again gets kind of redundant. It gets kind of tired. It gets kind of old. You want to make your montage something that people can enjoy watching, but that they're going to really get into. And one of the things that I found is montages of photo clips, and there's montages, bam, with video. You're watching our show, you're into video, you produce video, you shoot video. Well, make video in your montages. Get those clips in there. Go through the video clips. As your kids are growing up, start making notes of when you have a really good clip that, hey, that could go in the montage. And just remember which tape you put it on, around where it is. Capture it to a drive if you want. Do whatever you need to do. But those video clips make the montage that much better. And also, nowadays, you'll see every montage you watch has animated moving through the stills as you pan through the stills and move through the stills. Well, that's something at the time I started writing these articles wasn't available, and now it's readily available. But don't overdo it, and don't do the same effects again and again and again. The same exact pan and scan over again gets real boring real fast. It's called the Ken Burns effect. It's really cool when you use it properly, but if you overdo it, it just becomes something that looks like you're just trying too much. So I'd rather see a lot more live video out of you in your montages and a lot less Ken Burns, but it's a balance of both that's really cool. If you go to our website and you go to the article on the family video, I have a clip from my daughter's montage that I put together in 2010. And also on our YouTube and our Facebook, on my Facebook page, I think you can find some of the montages I did for some of my other kids as examples of using more video than stills. Okay. This next group was very, very important in the early days of HD, but I want to review it again because we're all used to HD and now 4K is coming. So when you go to higher resolution shooting, you got to make sure that you're taking into account the tools that come with it. So the first thing I want to talk about is what are you going to shoot with? I find that it's a lot of fun for family video to shoot with a DSLR. Why? Because it's the same camera that you're going to be shooting all the stills with anyway. And a DSLR camera right now shoots fantastic HD or 4K video. But once again, I need to stress, if you're going to shoot with a DSLR, learn the controls. Understand exposure, ISO, stop, shutter speeds. Almost every camera that you buy now that's a DSLR, there's someone on YouTube who's got some great videos on how to use it, how to get into the menus, how to use it right. You will see a dramatically improved effect in your videos if you start actually learning those camera controls as opposed to doing everything on automatic. Always, always, always use a tripod, a monopod, or a gimbal, or some other support to keep the shot steady. DSLRs, people tend to zoom a little bit, gets a little awkward if it bounces. You want to keep those shots steady. And when you're shooting with a DSLR, always, always, always use an external mic. And don't just use an external mic, but make sure you're monitoring the sound from the external mic. Way back when, we threw a 70th birthday party for my grandmother. We shot all this great video with table interviews and all this great stuff. And me and my dad didn't realize that the batteries and the mic we were passing around had died. We weren't monitoring the audio. We listened to the audio early on. We weren't monitoring during the show. And unfortunately, we didn't have the audio of those interviews. Guys, you know my grandmother, she would watch the video without the people saying anything, trying to figure out what they said through lip reading, but it always broke my heart that we missed some of those once-in-a-lifetime moments. So always monitor your audio while you're shooting your video. Next one is tips for HD and 4K shooting. This is where, you know, as you get to higher resolutions, you got to keep in mind that now people look clearer and clearer, and people in really super high resolution, it's not always the best thing in the world. So if you don't keep the camera steady in high resolution, the camera bounces, the camera wiggles, the camera angles, they look worse. They become a problem. You want to keep your angles wider, especially as you go to 4K. You can afford to be wider, and you can always zoom into your 4K image to create HD images out of it. So tend to stay wide, because a lot of times what you think is where the action is, stuff can be happening on the side. So, you know, you want to always keep the camera wide, because you never know, like, you could knock something over, the snowman could fall, it could be the funniest part of the whole video. You don't want to miss that stuff. If you're in too tight, you'll miss what's going on around. Also, avoid extreme close-ups. You know, this is a close-up, I look okay. Trust me, if we zoom this all the way in, you guys would be shutting down the video immediately. You don't need to get that close on people. That was an HD tip. And in 4K, it's truer than ever. Pan slowly and stop zooming during your videos. When we had a standard def world, you could do that all the time. It was okay. In a high def world, keep the camera steady. I'd rather you change your shot by stopping and establish a different shot if you need to, or when you're editing, get that zoom out of there. But the constant zooming and panning, it's just, you don't see it anymore. In an HD world, it's really unnecessary, and it's going to make your videos look a lot more amateur. And then the other thing that I stress all the time is shoot a bunch of cutaway and B-roll footage. So what do I mean by that? B-roll is what pros understand. B-roll is the shots that you use to go to fill space where maybe there was that zoom that you don't want to show, so you cut away to it. But I say, really think about your B-roll and your establishing shots. If you go to grandma's house, maybe start with a shot that's zoomed in on her address or her street corner, and then come on out on the zoom, create those shots. Like I said, the shot from outside the house looking in is a great B-roll shot. A shot of the presents or a pan up and down of the tree is a cool shot. Shots from the kitchen are great B-roll shots, as are just getting some reaction shots from family members. And I know it's kind of canned, but just get shots of people laughing and having a good time that you can cut in. It allows you to pace your video and change it around in post-production. It allows you to leave your audio still going good, but cut away to something that's meaningful. And the more B-roll footage you have, the better it is if you need to clean up the choices that you have. You can also get stock footage and stuff like that. But I think at a family event, if you've got your camera, you can create all the B-roll you need. We said we were going to talk about streaming a little bit, so I want to get to the streaming portion of the show now. Now, live streaming, I think a lot of you think of this and they say, hey, I got a phone. I can stream to Facebook all day long. And you know what? You're right, you can. But just picking up your phone and streaming looks like that kind of cruddy video everyone puts on Facebook. So first I want to talk about if you're going to stream from your smartphone. And it's obviously the fastest and easy way to share family videos, and you can put it right to YouTube or right to Facebook. And I'm guessing if it's a family video, it's probably going to go on Facebook. But the key to good looking video is to keep it smooth. And one of the best ways to keep it smooth is to get a gimbal, like this little gimbal mount we have from iCam that you put your phone on that lets you keep your phone steady, and that's a nice thing to do. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is shoot for your platform. You know, vertical video, when you shoot straight up and down, you know, a lot of people are poo-pooing is, oh, that's bad video. No one should do that. That's terrible. But the truth of the matter is that's how Facebook is. That's how we watch Facebook video on our phone. So if you're going to be shooting your video for people to watch on Facebook, vertical video might actually be the best choice from your phone. But I still say if you're going to use that clips for post-production or as part of a bigger video, you know, you definitely want to shoot it as a horizontal video. One of the things you can also do is, getting back to it, is you can have family members using their phones to shoot B-roll footage for you that you can then use in your final video. And what's really fun too is maybe have someone with their phone shoot some video of you shooting the bigger video you're producing, so that for this year, you'll actually be in the family video you produce, unlike all the other years where you were the guy behind the camera and never were in the video. So a little tips for smartphone. For those of you who want to get to the next level of live family streaming, of family events, and you want to use your camera, you've got this great video camera, a DSLR, you want to do a good job, this is the puppy to get, the Webcaster X2. I said I was going to plug a lot of products, but this one for this webinar, I just had to. It's $2.99, it goes right on your camera, knocking stuff down, and it allows you to take the HDMI output of your camera or your camcorder and stream it directly to Facebook or YouTube. And now what you can do, or Twitch for that matter, and now you can get the full controls of your camera to really get better video, where you can zoom in for the shot where you need it, where you can get depth of field through your DSLR. With your camcorder, you can adjust your lighting and get better white balance and lighting and focal lengths and things like that. So video looks better on a camcorder. You're shooting video. A couple of tips with the Webcaster is, before you ever plan on doing the actual event, be in the house where it's going to be and walk around the house and test your Wi-Fi strength and your upload speeds. One of the ways you can do that is just walk around with your phone to watch a YouTube video and see where it skips or doesn't. But the best way to really do it is to do a dry run through the house, set up, going to Facebook and see how the video looks. Avoid cold spots with poor connectivity. And also, if it's your own home and you're going to shoot video from it year after year and live stream, consider a home Wi-Fi mesh solution. These are these new home Wi-Fi systems. They're from Ubiquiti, they're from Google. A whole bunch of people have them, where you set up a central spot and then additional hotspots throughout your home, which lets you blanket your entire home in this mesh of Wi-Fi that's going to get you very good uploads. It's going to be a better way to do it. And plus, for your family, if you're into Netflix and all that other streaming, everyone's going to be happier. So, little plug for mesh networks in your home network, and definitely think about the Webcaster X2. If you want to get to something a little more involved, check out Telestream Wirecast software. You can run it on a laptop like this. Now you can add lower thirds and graphics and cut in and out from multiple cameras. We recommend using something like this, the AVIO HD, which will let you take HDMI into your laptop via USB 3, so the camera can be, it'll be tethered, but it can be plugged in and ran into the Wirecast software. If you want to go wireless off your Wi-Fi and you've got a Wi-Fi system like we talked about, you could put a Connect Spark, an NDI Connect Spark, and come in NDI into your Wirecast. We've talked about that in some of our other shows. I'm getting a little technical, and I didn't want to do that on this show, so if that's interesting you, give us a call. But Wirecast lets you take that, gives you that added production value. So I wanted to give that as a plug also if you want to live stream your clips. Okay. Now I want to go a little roundup of some of the tips we did, plus go into some additional tips we talked about in general. So tip number one, we can bring this up full screen if you want, Eddie. Monitor the audio. Tip number two, lighting, lighting, lighting. You don't need to bring professional lights in, but make sure the room is well lit. But bring in a couple of these little LED inexpensive lights that you can put throughout the room is going to go a long, long way. Check your power and play it safe. Nothing's worse than having your power go. Have extra batteries, plug in whenever you can. Use a tripod or other support, a gimbal. Make sure your video is steady. One of the things that I do is I bring a beanbag with me, and I always know that I can put the beanbag down and put the camera on the beanbag. And now I can get the camera steady in an odd place. I put it on banisters. I put it on the shelves of houses before. I put it on the back of a couch. So a little my beanbag tip for you there. And then synchronizing multiple cameras. I want to give you a little tip for synchronizing multiple cameras. This is really cool. And I learned this a long time ago, and that is, let's say you want to shoot your camera and someone else on their phone, and you're going to try to do a multi-camera edit of the whole thing later. What I recommend you do is have someone do a flash, just like an old-fashioned flash photography. That flash, now you can sync all your stuff going forward. There's also a great plug-in for Adobe Premiere and Avid called Pluralize, which does that from Red Giant. It's a great product, but once again, I would just use a flash to synchronize the multiple cameras. Color correction tools. They work, folks, so if your color comes out and it wasn't good, use the color correction tools inside Premiere or Final Cut or Avid to clean up that video so that you don't have that shift that you sometimes get from the holiday colors. Holiday lights can distort the actual lighting in the room, or you can walk from the dining room into the living room and all of a sudden you have a big backlit, beautiful bay window that throws your camera and your white balance off. You can always fix it in post. Color correction is your friend. Next is slow motion is cool, but you really need to be careful and not overdo it and make sure it's good footage. But if you get a situation where someone dropped something or something fell down or someone exploded jumping up and down at the gift they got, adding a little bit of slow motion can really make it a little more interesting. But this is one of these tips that I have to give you. Do not overdo the slow motion. Way back in the early 2000s, slow motion was everywhere. People were doing wedding videos. You couldn't escape the slow motion. It was overdone. No, I'm suggesting a little slow motion to go a long, long way. And then finally, if you've got young kids, think about doing a holiday card. And when you do that holiday card, put them in front of a green screen. We have this back wall painted all green here, but you can pick up a green screen for about 25, 30 bucks, a little piece of plastic or felt that's green that you can put your kids in front of, and now you can superimpose them into all kinds of different backgrounds. You can do that with streaming software like Wirecast or a TriCast that we have, but even so in post-production, now you can put the kids outside in a snowstorm wherever you want. It's a lot of fun to play with, and green screening is fun, especially when you're working with your kids. This next tip evolved into the family video article when actually my son got to be Willy Wonka in the school play back when he was in 2nd grade, I believe. So I shot that play and I learned a lot trying to shoot that play with a little handheld HDV camera at the time. So I want to go over these school tips. If you're shooting a school tip, you've got a young kid, and this isn't in the big auditorium. You know, they're in the elementary school. They're up on the little stage that's in the gym or in the lunchroom. They're putting on that play. They're putting on that recital. Here are some tips. So number one, know the play before you shoot so you know the pacing. If your kid's in the play, you know, work with their scenes, have them do their scenes in front of you, know where they're going to be. Always, always, always use a tripod. Plays, it's a long play. It could be a half hour, an hour long. The tripod's going to give you a steady view. Have plenty of power. That means batteries. That means plug in. I once did a shoot and my battery died. It broke my heart. Fortunately, I could come back the next day. Next one, I touched upon it before, stage lighting makes shooting tricky. Try to get to the dress rehearsal so you can figure out where the lights are and if they're using colored lights and gels so that you can compensate for it to try to get your videos to look as best as possible. It's not always easy and it takes a lot of work, but that's a good tip to just play with it to know what you're doing. Use external mics and always, always, always monitor your audio. I don't recommend a wireless mic. I know there's some people who like to put a wireless mic on their kid, but then you only get your kid and no one else. But a Zoom microphone still goes a long way. Or if the school happens to have a soundboard that you can plug into, even better. Next, if the play is showing more than once, go back and shoot again from a different angle. That's what I do with my son's plays. I would go to the morning show and then come back to the show in the evening of the next day, the dress rehearsal. So I'd be in one location for one show. Then the next day I'd come back and all I'd try to do is get like some close-up shots. So I wasn't always zooming, but I had the close-up shots with the wide shots. So it gave the illusion that I had a multi-camera shoot when actually what I had was a multi-day shoot. Now obviously you gotta be careful about some continuity glitches and stuff like that, but let's be honest, if it's an elementary school play, it's got some continuity glitches in it to begin with. So you adding a few when you're doing your post-production, your video, doesn't matter too much. And now I want to segue a little bit, and that is if you're ever asked to stream a school play, that's a different story. It's probably in an auditorium, and if that's going to come up, I'm going to suggest you really do that, always multi-camera, and look at a situation where maybe you can get your hands on a Wirecast gear or a NewTek TriCaster to do the live streaming from multiple cameras, because that's really what sets a show apart. And once again, this is like if you're being asked to do the high school production or a more elaborate production where you really want to know about that. If you've got some questions about shooting plays and live streaming plays, by all means give us a call, 800-323-2325. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about my experiences shooting plays back when the kids were little. Last one is the one that I always say that people think I'm goofing on them, but experiment, practice makes perfect, have fun with it. Develop your own style of shooting. Find those shots that you like, that please you. This video is really for you and your family. You have no one else you have to impress, so make it where it's fun for you. So by doing that, what I mean is don't be afraid to goof up. Try some stuff. Experiment. I'm not suggesting you drop your camera from the top of the Christmas tree and break it. There's a whole bunch of fun shots you can try doing. You know, one of the things a tip I had learned in an old magazine was you could take a tripod, and remember, a tripod has 3 posts. So there's the 2 in the front and the 1 here. What you could do is actually take the back and lean into a subject on the tripod where it goes forward. It makes a really cool kind of dolly effect, especially if you're going to zoom in on a kid who's in there. I can't really demonstrate, so you got a picture, but you can lean forward, you get a nice smooth dolly in, play with stuff like that, experiment, have fun. You know, if you really get good at this, you can decide if you want to get paid and do it semi-professional, but once you get paid, it's a whole nother level of pressure, and anyone who's a paid videographer out there, great job, keep doing it. But this is really about people shooting their own family videos for their own use. What I do want to say is if you're in an event that has a professional videographer or a professional photographer, please be courteous, get out of their way, let them get their shots first. They are paid, they have a job to do, and it's really not right if you're interfering to try to get your own shots. If you let them know what you're trying to do and you cooperate with them, they'll cooperate with you, and overall everyone will have a better time. And then the other thing that I want to stress that's really fun is if you're shooting family videos, try to teach the people around you about family video too. If you're watching our show, I have a feeling that you're into video. I mean, let's face it, it's the Video Guys show. We're called Video Guys. Spread the knowledge, spread the ideas, teach kids. If you have kids or young adults, let them use the camera, let them shoot some stuff. And hey, if all of a sudden your nephew or your daughter is shooting some video, maybe they can get you in the video going back, and now for a change, you could be the star of your own family video as well as other people. Or maybe you have them help you out, and then the next year you go for a 2-camera shoot. So you have 2 camera people shooting. And once again, it doesn't have to be the whole time, even if they just pick up the camera for a little bit. So spread the love, spread the knowledge of video. And one of the ways you can do that is by sharing this video with your friends and family, by liking it on Facebook, sharing it on your social media, letting people know, hey, here's a really great tip about shooting family video for some people who've been doing it for a long time. And once again, how long have we been doing this? I'm sorry, guys, I'm going off the script. We've been doing this since basically 20 years. This is the clip from 2002 when I told people to watch, to read our webinar. We're always doing this. It's a lot of fun. I'm happy that I could get to share these with you. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at this. I know I'm not supposed to, but I always screw up on how to restart the slideshow. All right, so here we are. Sorry about that. Now I want to talk about some of the upcoming shows we have on the Video Guys NewsDay Tuesday live show. December 18th, that's going to be our year in review show. We're not going to be naming best products. We're going to talk about our own webinars, what we did, what we were showing, what was cool, what were cool technologies. It'll be an overview show loaded with clips sprinkled in from our whole full year of shows from our studios here. That's going to be it, though, for the rest of this year. We're not going to do anything after the 18th. We're going to get ready for the new year. When the new year comes about in January, our first show is going to be on Atomos, on their new improved workflows. The Atomos Ninja V is a tremendous product. It's selling off the hook. People love it. If you've got a DSLR shooting 4K, you got to get yourself one of those. We're going to go into all the things that are new with the Atomos recorders, Atomos iOS, and their converters. And then on January 15th, we're going to come back. We're going to do a show on G Technology RAID storage. So that looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and we can't wait to share that stuff with you. And this is Gary from Video Guys. I hope you enjoyed our show. I'm going back to the beginning because I like that little slide that we have there. Shooting family videos is fun. We want it to be fun for you. I hope you found these tips useful. Once you get to the post-production, you want to do the streaming aspect, by all means, give us a call. We can help you out on it. This whole webinar is actually also an article that's still on our website to read, and you can read it, and we'll link to it from the metadata from the video. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please share it, like it, put it on YouTube, post it, send it to people, put it on your Facebook page. Because remember, these are memories that are once-in-a-lifetime memories. So this is Gary from Video Guys with my snowman co-anchor here, thanking you for the show. Gary from Video Guys, peace.
Video Guys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.